Just for tonight, maybe we can do something like make love, watch the sunrise, or listen to JoJo and Casey sing us a verse.
So I think my daughter was conceived on that song. I'll get back to that in a minute. So I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, the mean streets of St. Louis, Missouri, Blue Mire housing projects. I was a skinny little girl wearing glasses too big for my face. Being raised by my grandmother, my dad, and my aunts and uncles. Growing up in the projects, all the kids were just like me, coming from broken homes, living on public assistance, or hourly blue-collar jobs, sharing rooms with their siblings, or, like myself, other family members, and catching public transportation to everywhere we needed to go. But it was home. And we had fun in the projects, right? Like trying to get across that big busy street that runs in the middle of all the projects without getting hit. Or how long you could play on the fire hydrant before some official came to turn it off. Or ass on grass.
All right.
Well, the little boys chased the little girls, and if your ass wasn't on the grass, they gave the little boys permission to touch it. You know, project games. But it was the projects, and we didn't really feel unsafe, but there were times that things happened that did make you feel unsafe. One such incident happened for me when I was around 10 or 11 years old, and my best friend, Cynthia Edwards, was killed. And it happened, as you can imagine, it happened, some gang, drug, crap. Except in this situation, the person they were looking for, the house that they sprayed with bullets, wasn't the house where this person lived. And an innocent 11-year-old black girl was killed. It must be noted that while I grew up in the projects, I was actually on a desegregation program, and I was bused 45 minutes from my house to Eureka, Missouri, where I went to a school with all white people. And as you can imagine, their lives were completely different from mine. They had rooms of their own. They came from two-parent homes. They had cars that they were bringing to campus. They were giving the lunch lady $20 bills while I was handing her my free or reduced lunch ticket. And so in my mind, black people live differently from white people. That was until I stepped on the campus of Dillard University in August of 1989. Now, the beginnings of Dillard go all the way back to 1869 with the founding of Straight University and New Orleans University. And in 1930, these two institutions merged to become what we now know to be Dillard University. It's located in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the drinking age was 18. So y'all know it was immediately on. There was a daiquiri shop on the corner. Dillard sits on a plantation-style-like campus with these white buildings sprinkled on it, and in the middle of it, what we affectionately call the Avenue of the Oaks, where many of first kisses were had, yard shows performed, and lifelong friendships formed. Dillard was also where I fell in love with Alpha, Kappa Alpha. Now, the young people that were there at Dillard, these black people I was meeting, they actually lived more like the white kids that I went to school with. They were coming from two-parent homes. They were bringing cars to campus. They were going on family vacations. They were coming from HBCU legacies like Dillard or other HBCUs or Greek legacies. And I wanted all of that. These young men and women, they had purpose and they had passion. So while being at Dillard, this black incubator of excellence, which I dare say all HBCUs are, I actually struggled. I struggled to find my purpose, and I struggled to find my passion. Now, don't get it twisted. We had had a lot of fun. After all, I was in New Orleans, right? So we had the requisite HBCU homecomings, the yard shows, the step shows, the house parties, the duck pond, where many of Everclear and Boone's Farm was consumed. We even visited other nearby HBCUs like Southern and Xavier, and LSU, where Shaq was at the time. But I struggled. And in my junior year, I found myself pregnant. Now, finding myself pregnant at that time obviously was scary. And I had to call my daddy to come and get me, to take me back home. And so in April of 1992, my daddy came to get me to take me home. I had about a year and a half left. Well, who am I kidding? I was at HBCU. I probably had like 2 years left. But y'all get the point. I ain't had that much time left. But I left Dillard like a thief in the night. You know, like how the Kuts left Baltimore going to Indy. My friends woke to my absence. Now, there was a group of friends who knew about my struggles, and they helped me egg my baby daddy's car before I got in a moving truck with my dad. But I left like that because I was ashamed. And I was disappointed. I disappointed my family who had made sacrifices for me to be there. I disappointed myself. But more importantly, I disappointed the ancestors, the people who paved the way for me to even have a Dillard. I mean, think about it, y'all. In 1869, what it was like for black people in the South, I was standing on hollow ground. I was standing on some audacious, brave-ass shoulders. How could I throw this opportunity away? How dare I? So I went back home, and I had my daughter. But Dillard had given me a blueprint, a North Star, something to aim for. So I finished college. I changed my degree from mass communications journalism to criminology and criminal justice. I graduated. And in the spring of 1996, in my senior year, I was fortunate enough to pledge Alpha, Kappa Alpha, with my 4-year-old daughter by my side. 2 years later, I moved to Baltimore, obtained my master's, and for the most part, have had a relatively successful career in the field of criminal justice. But going to that HBCU, it instilled something in me. It instilled resilience, independence, grit, an appreciation of black wealth, an appreciation of black legacy, a black family. And for that, Dillard University will always be my HBCU.